just to get something else off my chest here before I forget and it doesn't go the way I want it to in the next few weeks, we're going to review this guy before we get too far ahead of ourselves. And that is this bugger. I would not suggest this model to anybody unless you are the world's largest Flammpanzer person, because this thing was a nightmare. Before we get too far into it, we'll point the finger at the bad guy, and that is you. Right there, that thing right there, Maian. All I gotta say about Maian products is, alright, well, to start things out, we'll take a look at it. And upon initial inspection, you're like, wow, it doesn't look too bad. What the hell do you got to worry about? It's a Flammpanzer. It's pretty small. And you know what? You're right. You know, actually, the chassis, the turret, all the adjoining pieces that go into it went together pretty well. You know, that's not so bad. But there are some, don't let it fool you, because there are some other issues on it that once you get past that part, that will just piss you off until the next century comes around. And that is that these little bastards, these little tracks here, are so badly put into the form or into the print or whatever that they will not come out easy. And I am not kidding you. I probably built the entire chassis and everything that went together with it except for the wheels and the track in about 5 days. And then I spent the next 2 months very, very, very slowly putting these fuckers on. And you know what? I know you go on the forums and people whine and complain. They're like, well, you know, it looks so much better when they're individual pieces and blah, 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 cry me a river. I mean, everybody has his own reward and his own thing, but good God, I mean, I built 3 other tanks in the time I had to build this one just because you had to get every single fucking link. I mean, it's not like this is some one, I mean, it is a 1/35th scale thing, but they're so small that, I mean, even on like some Dragon models, which they're all pieced together, the tracks are big enough that you don't have to monkey with it. Second thing that's the issue is on the wheels here, the spokes, they don't line up correctly. I had to chisel them out and reset them, especially on the back side here. They're pretty ratty, but oh goodness gracious, and that wasn't even half the fun of it, because this guy was a gift. As I said, I rarely ever do anything but tanks, and I might do an AFV or an IFV every once in a great while, but this one was a gift, and when it's a gift, it makes it kind of special, because I would never buy this out of the store, and I would never buy it for the price that he bought it for, but nevertheless, I put it together anyway. And you know what? It's really cool because the mold itself is really good. You got good definition. You know, there's good definition on where all the hatches are and all the hinges and everything, and the guns themselves, or the flamethrowers themselves, are really good. You can't move them independently. That would have been a nice feature, but you know, what do you expect for that? And the machine gun, you know, turret out the top, and so all that, and the smoke grenades, they all turned out pretty well. But then and another nice little feature, the kit actually gave you a photo etch muffler for it. So that adds a nice little touch. That made me feel better at the end of the day, once all was said and done. But you can't probably see it, but it's a little perforated copper photo etch part, and it adds a little touch to it. But I also weathered it using the Tamiya makeup kit that they make, and that was actually a real interesting application. And then I used my pigments for the tracks, like she had just got off the train. But other than that, I mean, before I weathered it though, I started to slide the decals on, and the dang things ghosted underneath. No matter what I pinned or tried to remove, they just started to fall apart. So I said, screw it. We'll leave them on there, let them sit, cover them up, lacquered over them. That's the way they are. So they are a little ghosty, but that's why that kind of prompted me to put the yellow dust on it so that you wouldn't see it as much, and makes it look better at the end of the day. So I mean, all in all, it turned out to be a pretty nice representation of it. But I mean, don't ever buy this thing at a store. I mean, unless you, as I said, unless you love a Flammpanzer, this is not the build for you. You know, if you're going to take it and destroy it and put it in a diorama, that's okay. But if you're just going to build it because you like Flammpanzers, find a different one. I don't think anybody else makes a Flammpanzer II, so you're kind of boned if you really, really want this to complete your epic collection of all three types of Flammpanzers in 1/35th scale. But if not, leave this one by the side of the road because it's not worth picking up.